Stuart, I'd like to thank you for all these years of training you've given me and uh, how, since the Zoom thing has happened, I've had more classes than I ever had in my whole 45 years before that. So I really, really appreciate you having done this for so many years.
Me too.
But
I've had more classes than
what I want to ask you, though, is would you please talk about the importance of consistency and purpose in our work?
look. Without consistency, this is not going to work.
Mm,
It doesn't. I mean, it's just point blank. It doesn't work. Coming to class once a month, once every 2 weeks. It doesn't work. Understand? Look, we live in a world that's so full of tension and so full of distractions and things that really captivate our attention and what we have to do, and that this tension takes over. And in order to discipline oneself and get rid of all that chaos, you need a steady diet. I mean, it's like not breathing for a week, you die. And this class gives life. It provides energy. It provides shakti. As I say all the time, we try to run a car without gas. Most people run their lives without energy. They run on tension. Their lives are on tension. So consistency of doing this is one of the keys towards truly mastering one's inner self. Another one is longevity. We come up against ourselves all the time, and a lot of people don't want to look in that mirror. I mean, that's in me. That's what I got to work with. Oh shit.
mm.
And they vanish, they disappear. So consistency, longevity, all of these things are very, very important when it comes to developing a spiritual life. Now, thank God what we do is not fanatical. You don't have to sit down and meditate for 12 hours a day. And if you move a finger, a monk will whack you over the head with a stick. It's not fanatical. There are classes you can attend and maybe sit down a half hour a day and do it and work on yourself and try during the day to keep your mind quiet and bring your attention down below the navel. But consistency of effort is one of the great keys to having a spiritual. Taking it for granted is a direct path to the grave. It really is. It doesn't go anywhere. Now, it's not just what I do, it's what anybody teaches. I mean, if you want to become a doctor, you got to make a consistency of effort for 12 years, for God's sake, in order to master the field of medicine so you can put a shingle that says MD. A lawyer, anything. An artist, probably after 15, 20 years of painting and sculpting, they really begin to master what they're doing and begin to create really great works of genius. So I can't, look, I can't stress it enough. Consistency, longevity, need. And the thing that makes you consistent is a need inside to do it. Without that need, you'll never be consistent. There'll always be something that will distract you. The need is real. I have to be there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 7:30. I have to be there. This is really important for my life. And everything else can wait in a half hour, an hour. It's not going to interfere with any other aspect of your life. And in that consistency, you will get a spiritual life. And you will get fuel you need to run your life. So I think consistency is really one of the great and really one of the most important aspects of this, with having the capacity to do it over time. I mean, Rudy said it better than anybody. It takes 9 months to have a baby. Try to have a baby in 3 months. It takes 1 second to die. And that's what goes on in the world. People are not willing to invest it. They'll invest it in a business, money, tangible things, and yeah, that's what they invest in. And of course, that consumes them and eats their life up. And there's nothing wrong with money or tangible things, but in order to sustain even that level of life, we need energy, we need Shakti, we need to be at peace in ourselves. We need to be relaxed inside. And all those illusory things, those transient things, don't become God. Money in our society is God. It's a substitute for God. People worship it. They worship power. They worship money. It's a substitute for God. And by the time they're 40, 50, 60, I mean, most of them are ready to have nervous breakdowns. And I'm not adverse to having money. I've had plenty of money in my life. I'm adverse to it becoming God. I'm not even adverse to that. It's none of my business if somebody else wants to do that. I'm not going to lecture them on the right way to live. I'm not adverse to having anything in life, any kind of success, as long as it's kind of done honestly. People aren't ripping each other off, but to turn it into the temple, to transform it into God, there is a dangerous part of it. And what I've learned in my life, it doesn't matter how much money you make. I really mean that. You always want more. How much money does it take any given human being to live? You don't need $300 billion to get up every morning and enjoy your day. In fact, it'll turn you into a nut like that guy, Egon Musk, or whatever his name is. You become crazy, power driven, mad.
Yeah.
They transform money and power into God. It's even sick. I don't know how I get into this, but consistency it's one of the keys to having a spiritual life. And this is not something you can say, well, I don't have anything next Wednesday. I'll go to meditation. I don't have anything in 2 weeks. I'll go to meditation. It's like, the classes and other things become a priority. You got to fill your tank with gas.
Hmm.
And if your car needs gasoline, you don't say, well, I'll drive another 200 miles and pray there's a station somewhere. You go and you fill it up. But that's, look, this is something I've had to deal with most of my life, honestly. People being consistent. I mean, I know, I tell you, I've had students of mine, they couldn't find a boyfriend, they couldn't get a date, they could anything. And they did this for 6 months and they became beautiful. They really got to be beautiful. And men fell in love with them and this and that. And as soon as they got a guy, they completely turned away from the meditation. It used to make me laugh. Oh my God, 6 months ago, no one would look at them. Now they got guys coming from all over. They're beautiful. They become beautiful. And they find, boom, gone. And usually the guy they find becomes jealous of me because I'm at the center of one of the centers of their attention. So they have this conflict going on between me and the guy. You know, this happen. It doesn't happen anymore, but it used to happen all the time. To the point where I used to start laughing at it. It was just crazy. Does anyone else have a question?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Ben. Consistency is very important, Ben. In anything. If you want to learn to play the guitar, you got to be consistent at it or forget about it. Or a French horn, for instance, you know about that. Or a chiropractor, you know about that. You got to go and learn how to do it. Anything in life. You want to be in business, you got to learn how to do it. You want to get married, you got to you really got to learn how to do it. Or it won't last 6 months. If you get married on your terms, forget about it. You got a 3-month marriage. You got to be consistent to learn how to function in this world. Does anyone else have a question?
Stuart and I have a question.
Yes, well,
There are times when I'm really feeling like shit, and I know I'm working, but I still feel everything feels rough, and you tell me how well I'm doing, but it's like I don't feel it, so I'm is there some criterion in there somewhere that
look,
that
Rick
I
once told me, Bob, Stuart, you're always 6 months behind yourself. He told me that once when I had the same complaint. He said, you're always 6 months behind yourself. You know, look, yes, you have poison coming up. You have junk that you have stored inside your system for 30 years that's coming. You're going to feel shitty. You're going to feel shitty. Meanwhile, you're letting it go. You're getting rid of it. And then maybe a week later, you're going to feel better than you ever felt in your life. That's how it works. It's like homeopathy. They give you the disease to get rid of the disease. I mean that. And you're always 6 months behind yourself. You're like a shadow trailing yourself, trying to catch up. You know? So that's what it's like. I mean, you know how much stuff we store inside ourselves? And when you do this meditation, you tap all of that stuff, it comes to the surface. And you're going to feel shitty. Generally, you get a flu, it's because your system is releasing poison and you feel terrible. After the flu is gone, you feel great. It's like all of that crap has come out of you, you know? I'm not here to do an I'm okay, you're okay job with all of you. I'm really not. This is not that kind of work. This is the kind of work that goes right inside you and releases stuff that you've been carrying around all your life. And it's guaranteed not to feel great when that stuff gets released. But once it's released, you're on a whole new level in your life. And then I don't, I feel great. Nobody tells me they feel great. They always tell me they feel shitty. Hear from people, I feel wonderful. I got rid of all that garbage. I went through hell, but it's all gone now. I feel terrific. Never hear that from anybody.
So, Stuart, while I'm going through that level of shit, how best to, uh, what ways can I be kinder to myself uh, uh, and work with myself in that?
Well, just, because you feel bad, don't beat yourself. This stuff is beating you up enough. So don't beat yourself up anymore. Just fasten your seatbelt and say to yourself, it's going to pass. I need to continue to work on myself. This will pass. It'll pass. It passes. I mean, this has been a very hard year for me. Not only my own stuff coming up, dealing with people with cancer, it's been unbelievable this year, you know? And but I know it all passes. I just have to stay quiet and simple and not to get crazy with myself because things are rough and tumble, and it passes. And when you come out of it, you're much stronger. This is going to come again. And you have the strength to deal with it. You have precedents of how to deal with it. Stay centered. Don't beat yourself up. Don't get upset at yourself. It's enough that you're feeling crummy. Don't make it worse. You're upset at yourself. And the hell with the world. Look, if you're going to get upset because of all these crazy people do in the world, you have nonstop agony for the rest of your life. I mean it.
Oh, God.
Be upset because of what Donald Trump is doing and these other lunatics are doing to the rest of your life. You're going to be upset. Just get grounded and centered and do your work on yourself and have patience, because patience allows you to weather the storm. And I'll repeat it once again, because you are going through that. Don't beat yourself up. Because people, when they feel crummy, they make themselves feel even crummier, getting depressed, getting unhappy, getting miserable. Why me? Why me? Why am I unhappy? Why am I miserable? They get worse. Just have patience, get quiet, stay centered, do your work. It'll pass.
Thank you, Stuart. That's good.
And let me know when it passes. Okay. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, as I say, this is going to be the last Sunday evening class. If you want to attend the 1 o'clock class that I teach on Sunday, that will continue. I don't have your email address on my mailing list for that class. Just send me your email address or send me an email saying, I want to attend. I'll put your name on that mailing list and you'll get an invitation. So thank you. God bless you all and have a wonderful evening. And there'll be class tomorrow evening. And I'm looking forward to seeing people. God bless you all.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Well,
Thank you very much, Stuart.